Okay. I would like to use this session as a consultation for you to ask any question regarding any of the topics discussed or anything about the subject at all. If anyone would like to start, if you have any question regarding the practice exercises, any concept, even if just the simple ones, okay, I encourage you to do so. Just either send the message in the chat box, or if needed to be explained, then unmute your microphone. Anyone? Wala? Can you hear me?
Yes po.
Walang may tanong. Okay, systems of equations. Okay, do you have a particular item in mind? We can look at that in the practice exercises, perhaps. Try natin maghanap. Okay, who has difficulty with systems of equations? Just message me in the chat. You want me to do an example on that? Okay. Okay. Practice exercise number 5. Sige, tingnan natin. That's in module. Doon ba sa mismong general o doon sa particular file ng systems of nonlinear? Mr. Eric. Ito siguro sinasabi mo, no? Okay. So, sige. Okay, there are two methods for solving a system. One is by the method of substitution, Another is by elimination. However, if you use the method of substitution here, you will soon find out that by squaring y, you'll be getting as an equation of degree 4, which you would want to avoid as much as possible. So instead, we use the method of elimination to solve this one. And to do so, okay, we will multiply. Okay, I will rearrange first. Okay, I will multiply the first equation by negative 20. Then rearrange the second line so that the terms containing x squared align. Then I add up the two equations. I just interchange actually. So you see that by eliminating x squared, the remaining equation will just be in terms of y alone and quadratic. Which you can solve either by factoring or by the quadratic formula if not factorable. So what we do is transpose everything on one side of the equation. So let's transpose everything on the right hand side so that the coefficient of y squared is positive. And then let's see if this one can be factored out. Actually, this is a technique of factoring which we call, oh wait, 20y squared. Okay, wait. Oh no, it won't be. Okay. Grouping kasi ito eh. So notice y is this one. Or you can just use the quadratic formula. So you'll get, use the quadratic formula, you'll get two possible values for y. And then you solve for the corresponding values of x using one of the equations. So let's just use this one. X squared plus y squared equals 1. So if you consider y equals -1, you get only one value for x. That gives you the ordered pair 0, -1. Then you do the same for the other solutions. You can use your calculator anyway to make simplification easier and faster. There. So you have you have three solutions. There. Is there any question on this item? You should always put the x coordinate first before the y coordinate. Like here, this is the y coordinate, so it should be the second, okay, of the two coordinates. Okay. Next. Sige lang. Send a message in the chat box if you have any topic you want me to discuss or any exercise. You can look for an exercise. Yes, Miss Naral.
Sir, yung dun po sa functions and basic operations na PDF file, yung sa operations and functions number 1 po. Yung number 1 na parang binigay na exercise. How did it become 4? Yung denominator po, how did it become?
Naka-type ni typo ba? Anong exercise yan? Module 3?
Functions and, opo.
Ito?
Yes po, yan po, functions and basic operations. Yung
exercises.
Opo, dun sa, yan po, yun po. Yung sa second page. Yung number 1 po, yung numerator niya. How did it become 4 plus x squared po? I keep getting 4 plus 2x.
Check natin na kung nagkaroon tayo ng typo error dyan.
Sige.
Baka talagang nagkamali ako ng simplify. Okay, so you're to add the f plus g of x means that you add the two functions. It's already shown there. Now, is the second or the third, they call this, under 1, is the third in line of the equation clear to you?
Yes.
How I simplify it? You get the LCD. And then you divide, then you multiply. Actually, you can just like cross multiply. Okay, may error lang tayo. Let's expand. So FOIL method. So you'll get x squared plus 3x plus 2. Then for this one, if you expand that, sige, isa-isay natin. Then this one, if you expand, is 4 minus x squared. Difference of two squares. Okay, let's see if things cancel out. Okay. So it should be 4 plus 2x squared. Okay, so is it clear now?
Yes po. So may typo lang po.
Hindi ko lang kung typo yan or baka na-miscompute ko siya.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So, questions ba? So, hanggang ano yan, module 3, you have to study also graphing, polynomial and rational functions and piecewise functions. Optimization. So, how about optimization? Sinong nahirapan sa optimization? Sa optimization, all you have to do is set up a quadratic function to model the problem, and then you get the vertex of the quadratic function, because the vertex is either the highest or the lowest point. So any question on optimization you'd like me to answer? Any item in the practice exercises? Wala? How about circles and lines? Okay, sige. I have some exercise for you to do. Just a test of how well you understand some of the topics in module 2. So test ito ng understanding niya. Suppose you are given 3 points and you are to find the circle which passes through those points. How would you approach the problem? So let me read the problem. Find an equation of the circle passing through the point 0, 0, 2, 4, and 6, -2. If this were an item in the quiz and you are to upload your solution, how would you approach the problem? Of course, you may want to plot the points first to see how they are located relative to each other. And I put that here. Those are the points 0, 0, 2, 4, and 6, negative 2. What's the most natural approach to solving this problem? Na medyo mahirap. Set up a system of equations, di ba? Yung HKR. No, suggestion kasi dito midpoint. That's not necessarily, the center E is not necessarily the midpoint of B and C. No, it's not always the case. Given any 2 points on a circle, the midpoint of the 2 points does not necessarily coincide with the center unless they are opposite points, diametrically opposite points. Then their midpoint will be the center. So you're not sure if that is so with B and C. It just seems so, but not really. So some would approach this by using the center radius form of the circle. And then you would just plug in the 3 points given, 0, 0. Then 2, 4. And then 6, negative 2. Although it's doable, but things might get really complicated here. Since you'll be dealing with a system of 3 equations in 3 unknowns and all are nonlinear. It's doable, and you do it by eliminating one variable at a time. You may want to try that out. But first, you will have to expand each equation and then cancel out like terms or subtract like terms. Any other idea other than setting up a system of equations to solve the problem? What did we learn about circles? So far, we only learned that tangents to circles are perpendicular to the radius from the center to the point of tangency. Okay, but there's another property of circles where if you draw the chord joining any 2 points on the circle, anyone familiar with that property? A chord is any line segment whose endpoints are on the circle. So they join, or a chord joins 2 points on the circle. How would that relate to this? The center. The perpendicular bisector, did you review that already? How to get the perpendicular bisector? I hope. It's defined to be a line that bisects the chord or the line segment and passes through the midpoint. So it bisects, meaning it passes through the midpoint and it is perpendicular. Now, it is always true that the perpendicular bisector of any chord of a circle passes through the center of the circle. So that means if we can get the equation of this perpendicular bisector, at least we know that the center lies on that line. Now, how would that help? Isip tayo, analytical. So makikita yung pagiging analytical natin. That would not be enough to find the coordinates of the center, but at least we have a starting point. Sige, I want to hear suggestions. Tingnan natin sino ang makakita paano i-solve ito. Nagbigay na ako ng hint. Usually kasi mga ganitong tanong lumalabas sa mga face-to-face classes. By the way, can we get the equation of that line, that orange line? Yeah, yes, that's how you get the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So you get first the midpoint of A and B, right? We can get the midpoint of A and B since we have the midpoint formula. And then we can get the slope of the orange line here by getting the slope of the chord AB and the negative reciprocal, di ba? E given naman yung A and B. So that means we could get the equation of this. Now, gagamit ako ng system. I want to set up a system that will allow me to get the coordinates of the center E. How do I get another one? Kanina, nag-set up ako ng systems of 3 equations in 3 unknowns. Actually, makakapag-set up tayo ng 2 equations lang and in 2 unknowns. At may isa na tayo dito. Magmumula sa equation ng line na yan. We need another one. Where will we get that? Sige, pwedeng mag-type ko na yung mag-decide. Okay, what you mean is find another perpendicular bisector that passes through the center, right? That's a good idea. Actually, it's the idea. So if I draw another chord, say AC, and draw the perpendicular bisector of that chord, again, it will pass through the center. Okay? And then we are able to get the equation of this one again. And once we have the equation of these two, we have a system. Okay? So I want you to work that out. So parang review na rin pag-practice ng pagkuha ng perpendicular bisector. So get the equations of the orange and blue lines. Okay? And then babalik ako after 10 minutes. You will solve the resulting system, by the way. So kunin nyo muna to. Equation 1, then ito, equation 2. Doon naman yung coordinates A, B, C. Then solve. Okay, once you have the 2 equations, solve the resulting system. Okay, so 10 minutes. Okay. So let's get first the equation of the orange line. So A has coordinates 0, 0. B has coordinates 2, 4. First, we get the midpoint. And if you add you should get 1, 2 for the midpoint. Then you get the slope of the perpendicular by getting the slope of AD. This one. The negative reciprocal. If we use the coordinates again, change in y over change in x, we have 4 minus 0 over 2 minus 0, which is 2. So the slope of this one is the negative reciprocal. Okay? And then it passes through the point 1, 2. We use that to write down its equation in point slope form. Then simplify. So that's the equation of the orange line there. Let me write that down here. Okay. Then you do it also for the other one. For the blue one now. A has coordinates 0, 0. C has coordinates 6, negative 2. Again, midpoint. Get the averages. You'll have 3, negative 1. And then the slope. Again, change y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The negative reciprocal. So the slope is 3. Negative reciprocal of this. Then point slope form with this as the point. Y minus negative 1 equals 3 times x minus 3. So y equals 3x minus 9 minus 1. And then the intersection of the two lines will be the center since they both pass through the center. And you just have to equate it. Multiply by 2 both sides to get rid of the fractions. Then solve for x. So that's the x coordinate of the center. And then you can get y by using this one. Okay. So the center has coordinates 25/7, 5/7. Any question how I got the center? So yung key idea dito, yung mga perpendicular bisector, ano? Then system. Then once you have the center, you just need to get the radius. Anyone? How can we get the radius of the circle? Anyone? Okay, from a point. Isang point lang, tatlo yung points na given. Pinakamadali lang gamitin, 0, 0. So ito yung radius niya from the center to a point. Kahit ano dyan. So let's use this one. And this one. Distance formula. Can use your calculator to just simplify this quickly. Okay. And then center radius form. So that's our equation. So yes, kahit standard form lang, unless otherwise stated na you have to convert it to general form. Okay, so the long test will have I think 17 questions answerable in 2 hours. Some questions are 2 points each, and then some are 3. And then yung mga file upload questions, worth 6 points sila. There are 2, I think, na where you have to show your solution. So make sure you have a scanner, or kahit sa cellphone na lang, merong scanner app. Cam scanner, familiar kayo doon? Pwede yun eh, cam scanner. You just take a picture and then the app will like scan it electronically. So you can send it as anong file ba ginagamit mo doon? Kung JPG pa rin yun or hindi ko na maalala. Para mas malinaw pag naka-scan. But anyway, you can just take a picture kung wala talaga or nakaalangan and then send it. I-upload nyo rin sa Canvas yon. So for example, if it's in question 7, then there's a, what they call this, a button there which you have to click in order to upload your solution. Some are true or false, true or false, multiple, wala masyadong multiple choice. So mostly fill in the blanks. So some have multiple blanks. Others, you have to type really your answers. As much as possible, follow the instructions given. Do not put spaces. Mas maganda in between symbols. Halimbawa, your answer is to infinity union, let's say negative 1, 2. Then you do not need to put a space. How you will write this one is as follows. Okay, no spaces in between all the symbols. No spaces anywhere. Do not use a space. Although hindi naman strict yan, pero para maiwasan mo na, kasi gusto mo makita, di ba, kung ano yung, kung nakuha mo talaga siya. I will recheck naman manually, pero mas maganda sundin mo so that wala ka ng problema. Okay, no spaces in between symbols, delimiters, numerals. And then for a union, use a comma instead of using the spatial, what we call this, symbols there in Canvas, or using the word union itself. Some do. So sino pang may tanong? We still have time. Ilalaan ko talaga ang usually ang isang session for consultation. If there's none, I'll be ending the meeting. So I've granted your request as perhaps already announced. Actually, talagang hindi ko i-synchronous yun. Hindi ko lang agad in-announce. Kasi nga yung iba mabagal yung internet connection. So dalawang cellphone pag gagamitin mo or laptop. Understandable. Okay, so hi sir, how would you solve for y in the problem concerning in the quiz? Tingnan natin yung quiz, no? Okay, find the value of y so that the points A, 3, 5 B, negative 4y and C, 5, 1 form an isosceles triangle. And it should not be hard to see that, okay, based on, of course, you cannot always base your understanding of the problem on figures since they may not be accurate. But it seems that for this to be an isosceles triangle, these are the two sides that have to be equal in length. Kung dalawang to. So that means you try the other combinations, they won't work. But if you equate those two sides, the length of AB equal to the length of BC, you'll get a solution. This was explained in one of the lectures, yung asynchronous. So use the distance formula to compute AB, the length. Okay. Then BC. Okay, squaring both sides, then simplifying. That's 49. Expanding this one. Notice that y squared will cancel out. And then you'll be left with negative 10y, negative 2y, which you can transpose here. And then this one here. 8 plus 1 is 9. Oh, sorry, why do I have 8 plus 1? 81 plus 1 yan, ano? So that's 82. 49 plus 25 is 74. I think it's negative 8. So y equals negative 1. Yes, wala namang masyadong instructions na iba, gaya din ng binigay ko sa graded exercises. Pero yun nga, as much as follow, all answers must be in interval form. Ano pa? MX plus B form, unless otherwise stated in the directions. And hanggat maaari, halimbawa, di ba, halimbawa, solve for x. Hanggat maaari lang naman, huwag nyo nang ilagay na x equals 1. Just write 1. Para diretso na yung check. Unless it's an asymptote, di ba? Kapag asymptote, kailangan may x. Remember vertical asymptotes? For example, this is a vertical asymptote. And it's at, let's say, 5. What's the equation of that one? Don't put the vertical asymptote is 5, then you type 5 as your final answer. That will be wrong. It's a line, so it has an equation. And what is its equation? X equals 5. By the way, do you understand why x equals 5 yung equation niya? Kasi lahat ng points dyan, ang x coordinate nila 5. Diba? This is 5, 0. This is 5, 1. This is 5, 2. And that is why the equation is x equals 5. All ordered pairs or points whose x coordinates are 5. And all of them will form a vertical line. Pag horizontal, y equals. Bawa, negative 7 yan. So ang equation itong horizontal line na to, y equals -7. Okay, kung wala nang tanong, I think that's it for now. So study well and do well on the quiz. Okay? I'll be ending the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.